Welcome students. In our today's class, we are going to study the last concept of Unit 1, that is command line arguments. Okay. Before we actually begin with what command line arguments are, let us try to just recap one of the concepts which we have studied with respect to user-defined functions. Okay. Now, let me say, suppose if there is, all the C programs will have main function, right? So because the program execution will begin only from the main function. Suppose if a user wants to have a user defined function, then they will have to declare or define it separately. Like suppose here, I will declare one particular function, say void fun. Assume that this particular fun function is going to accept one integer variable. Let me call it as x. Okay, and it will have its own code over here. Now, since the function is we are defining a function, there should be a function prototype also. So the function prototype I'm declaring at the beginning, which will tell that, okay, there is going to be a fun function. It will just tell to the compiler that there will be a fun function, and which will take one argument of the integer data type, and it does not return anything because it is void. Okay, this is function declaration, this is function definition, and in order to invoke this particular user defined function, we need to write the function call statement. Say in our main function, we have a function call statement. Call it to be a fun. I'm just passing one integer value. Let me directly pass the value here like this. Okay, and at the last statement, assume that there is a return 0. Now, the point of highlight here, the concept what we are going to look upon here is that when we have a user defined function and if it accepts certain parameters or the arguments, these parameters or the arguments, whatever it is accepting, will be passed from its calling function. The calling function here is, it is main here. So now main function is calling fun, and it is passing certain arguments or certain parameters to the fun function. Now, have we ever thought of something like, can we pass certain parameters to main function? Right? So far, all the programs, whatever we have discussed in our first semester or in second semester, our main function has not taken any of arguments or any of the parameters. Okay, you can see the main, after writing the keyword main, we have empty parentheses. That means the main function has not receiving any of the arguments. Now you may wonder, sir, the main function is something which will, from this particular function itself, the program is going to start execution, right? Then how can we pass certain arguments to the main function, right? We can pass the arguments to the main function. And if we are passing something, then such arguments are called as command line arguments. If we think that we need to pass certain arguments to the main function, then such type of arguments are called as a command line arguments. Then what exactly is command line arguments are now? Command line arguments are the arguments that are passed to the main function, at the time of execution, through the command line. Just pay attention to the couple of words here. Command line arguments are the arguments that are passed to the main function, right? So that means to this particular main function, we are going to pass certain arguments, like this particular fun function, right? In fun function, it is taking certain parameters. Who is passing the arguments to the fun function? The main is passing over here, like a 10 is being passed. In the same way, we can pass certain parameters to main also, right? How can we pass? It can be passed through the command line. When those particular arguments are passed at the time of execution. So whenever we think that we want to execute the program and we say that we are going to pass certain arguments, right? We know that to execute the program, we write ./a.out, right? ./a.out. This is the execution command, right? From the terminal. Whenever, if we write a program, if we say that that particular program is going to accept command line arguments, then the command lines should be passed at the time of execution. At the time of execution means whenever we write this ./a.out, at this time we are going to provide certain arguments. I will tell you how we can pass the arguments in a while. Before that, since we have decided that we are going to pass certain arguments to the main function, that means this particular main function should be capable of receiving those arguments. Like here, in this particular fun function, it is capable of receiving the arguments, isn't it? So it is capable of receiving how many arguments? Only one argument of the integer data type. In the same way, if we decide that the main function we want to pass, then it should be capable of receiving them, right? So by default, if we think that we want to pass, then the main function takes two different arguments. It takes two different arguments. The first argument is of the type integer, okay, and the second one is of the type character pointer array. It is of the type character pointer. The first one is the integer. We name it to be argc. Pay attention, students. The first argument which this particular main function accepts is of the type integer, and we call it to be a argc, right? Argument count. Okay, argc means here argument count. C here stands for a count. The second one is the character pointer to an array, right? So array means here I will specify it to be argv, argument vector. Usually we call it to be an argument vector, so we just specify it to be a argv. What exactly this argv is? Argv is nothing but it is a character pointer to an array. You can think like, okay, there is going to be a certain character pointer. It is going to store the arguments which we are going to pass to the main function. So the bottom line here is that the main function, if we say that it is going to take arguments, those arguments are called as command line arguments. If we think that we want to pass the command line arguments to the main function, then main function we have to write in this order, like int main. It cannot be empty brackets, but now it should take two arguments or two parameters also, you can say, right? So the two arguments, the first one is an integer type, second one is a character pointer array. So first one is an integer, that is nothing but argc. Argc means the argument count. So now let us elaborate what argument count means. Argument count means it stores, this argc stores number of arguments that we are passing, right? Number of arguments that we are passing to the main function. Second one is, since it is a character pointer array, that is, it is going to store the string values, right? 5 string values, it is a character array. So character array means what? It is a string values. It is going to store a collection of string values, we can say. That means whatever the arguments we pass, all those list of arguments will be stored in the variable argv. Now let us try to understand this theoretical explanation with a simple program. Okay, now let me move on to the program here. I will delete all this content. Let me write the code of this. Okay, how we can receive, how we can pass the arguments, and how we can read all those particular arguments. Now, as I said earlier, if a main function, if we think that we want to pass certain arguments, then it has to be defined which accepts two arguments, int argc, comma character pointer argv array, right? First, let us try to display the total number of arguments, that is command line arguments, right? As I said earlier, argc means argument count. What it stores? It stores the total number of command line arguments. So let us have a simple printf statement. Printf, say the total number of command line arguments equals to %d /n and ARGC. Now, ARGC is capable of storing total number of command line arguments. That particular value we are just displaying over here. Okay. Now, second one, we will display the list of all those command line arguments. How, since it is a list, then as it is an character array, we need to have an for loop here. So let us first declare one variable, say int I. Okay. Now, for I equal to 0, because index value starts from what? 0. Then I less than the final value. Final value here is what? The total number of command line. And this total number of command line is stored in which variable? It is stored in ARGC. So I can easily write here as A, that is I less than ARGC, then semicolon, and then I plus plus as the increment. Now, inside this for loop, what I will do is that I will write a printf statement, which will display those particular list of values, right? So here, let me say that ARG, directly I'm just displaying those particular list. ARGV, sorry, ARGV of I. ARGV of I. 1 second. Within the double quotes, since it is going to be a string values, so we need to provide it to be a %s, and I want to print them in a line by line after line. So %s /n. Now you may understand why this is %s. %s format specifier is for the string values. Now ARGV is what? ARGV is a character pointer array, right? So it contains what? String values. So we have used a string here. Okay, let me have one more statement here. Printf, okay, /n, the list of command line arguments. Okay. Very simple program here. Now here we need to now understand how exactly we can pass the command line arguments here. Now, first let me move on to the terminal. CD BS is the folder. The program number is 33. GCC 33. Okay. Let's look for any errors if there are any. Okay, there is a semicolon missing. Where line number 12? Here, semicolon is missing. Let's put that semicolon back and compile once again. No errors this time. Now execute the program. Now look at the, pay attention here. ./a.exe. In this case, it is a exe, executable file exe. Okay. Now, if you look into the definition which I said you earlier, the command line argument means the arguments that are passed to the main function at the time of execution through the command line. Now, command line means what? Now, this interface, what you are seeing here, this interface is the command line interface, right? So I'm just typing the commands through the command line. This is one particular line, so we can say it is a command line, right? Now, at the time of execution. So I'm just about to start the execution, that is ./a.exe. I'm just about to type. At this time, I will pass the arguments. How can I pass the arguments? Say, first argument, I would say that ABC is the first argument. Say, the second argument, I would say that DEF is second argument. How can I specify that? Can I say that this is the second argument? Because these two are separated by a space. So this ABC will be considered as one string value. Then DEF is going to be considered as second string value. So this ABC is going to be stored in ARGV of 0. DEF is going to be stored in ARGV of 1. So total, how many are there? There are 2. That means now ARGC is going to store value as. Now let us run the program here. Let us run the program and look for the output. Let's wait for the output and see whether it is displaying the same thing. Now look at here. The total number of arguments are 3. Why we are getting 3? Because carefully observe, a dot, that is dot slash a dot exe. This is the first argument, that is argv of 0. Then abc I am passing. This abc is the second argument. Then def is the third argument. So you can see the total number of command line arguments are 3. So this is first one, second one, third one. By default, the dot slash a or a dot exe is considered as the first command line argument, which is going to be stored in argv of 0. Then next is abc, then next is def. If you look into the program here, if I place it side by side, let's see here. Now this is total number of command line arguments, that is argc. What argc stores? It stores the total number of command line arguments. Arg, that is argument count. So there are 3 arguments. Each of those arguments are stored in argv, right? Argv of 0. First time when this for loop iterates, I value is 0. So argv of 0 is dot slash a, right? Then that is ex is omitted here. Okay, that is you can ignore that. The second one, that is argv of 1. So that is abc. Third is what? argv of 2, that is def. So all those 3 values are displayed. Now let us take one more example. Like this time I'm going to pass certain different values. Dot slash a dot exe. Okay, then say a b c 1 2 3 4 5. Now look at here. These are not actually a string values, these are a characters, but these characters are going to be stored as a string values itself. So how many are here total? This is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So if I execute the program now, the total number of command line arguments are going to be 9, and the list will be dot slash a, then a b c up to 5. All these values will be displayed one line after the other. Let us run the program. Look at here. Total number of command lines are 9, and all those lists are displayed over here. Now probably you might come to, or you may have a better understanding about the definition of what command line argument is. So the command line arguments are the arguments that are passed to the main function, right? So when I executed a main function here, it is receiving certain arguments. What type of arguments? The command line arguments. How they are passed? They are passed from the command line. So you can say when I execute it, I'm passing all these arguments through the command line when at the time of execution. So keep it in, this particular concept is going to be important for 2 marks for your final examination. Define command line arguments, or sometimes you may also, there is a chance that you may get a 5 marks question as well. Okay, explain command line arguments. So you need to write a definition followed by the syntax. The syntax is this one. You can remove all this content. This is not required. This is the syntax. Int main, int argc, character star argv of array, and then the return 0 statement, or any code you can specify over here. And you need to mention what argc means. Argc stores total number of command line arguments that are passed to the main function. Argv is a character pointer array that stores the list of command line arguments. Okay. If example is asked, you can write this particular example. Okay. Now, based upon this particular concept, that is command line arguments, you have a journal program, one of the journal program, which is very, very simple. Let me open that particular journal program here and explain that. Okay. This is the program statement. Just look at the program statement here. The program that takes a file as an argument and counts the total number of lines. So what it says, we need to write a C program. That program should take an argument, right? So since we're talking that the program should take an argument, means argument have to be passed through the command line. So that argument, whatever we are going to pass, is a file basically. What it should do, it should be able to find out the total number of lines in that particular file. So lines are defined as ending with a new line character. So new line character means a /n. Program usage should be count file name.txt. So you can just ignore this one, count here. I will explain what exactly to be done here. Okay, that means you are going to write a program. Whenever you try to execute that, like we show you here, ./a.out, and here the argument is going to be, the command line argument is going to be a file. For example, test.txt. If I pass this one, and when you execute it, program should display the number of lines that are present in this particular file. Okay, for example, let us take out certain file here, say cat. Let me see whether the test.txt is available or not. Yeah, text.txt is available. Let me make it a little more interesting. Let me modify the content of this file, test.txt. Okay, line 1, line 2, line 3. Sorry, again line 2. I pressed once again. Okay, line 4. I'm just typing here. Okay, after that, I will press Control D. So there are 4 lines in our particular file. Now, if I execute a program ./a.exe with this test.txt, it should display as number of lines in the file as 4. Okay, now let me do one thing. First, I will execute the program, then I will explain you the program, how it works. Let me compile the program. In this case, CCC. The program name is JP, then it is A_03. Okay, now A.exe, the command line I'm passing here as the one argument, that is test.txt, and enter. Let it generate the output. Now here, number of arguments are what? Only 1. What has happened? Give me a moment. Why it did not generate? So this particular program here, if you look at, it is taking the arguments, command line arguments. Then we have a particular counter which will keep track of number of lines in the file. Since we are talking about a file, we should require a file pointer. Okay, and also we require a character to read every character, right? We are interested in reading the /n characters, right? So suppose when we execute, at that time the usage, if you look in the program definition, we have specified usage should be count file name.txt. Here count means it is nothing but our program execution path, that is /a.exe. Then this file name.txt is our test file, that is test.txt. So how many are in count? They are 2 in count. So if it is not 2, then a proper error message would be displayed. How it is going to display it? Look at here. If I just type something like this, it will say usage error. Why usage error occurred? When I execute the program like this, how many arguments are being passed? Only 1, that is a.exe. The first condition in this particular program is we are trying to check the count of ARGC, that is the value of ARGC. Here this value of ARGC is what? It is not equal to 2. Why? There is only 1. So this condition becomes true and it will print this message that you need to execute in a proper format, that is ./a.out. See, in our lab, since we are going to execute it on a Ubuntu machines, there it is going to be a ./a.out. And here it is not, in my case, my system is, I'm not running on a Ubuntu machine, I am running on a Windows PC. So it is /a.exe. Okay, then a.out followed by the name of the file I need to specify. So if I am passing it properly, then definitely this if condition will be false, it will move on to the else path. So in the else path, what we are doing here, we are opening the particular file open argv of 1, right? That specified file will be opened in read mode. You can see here I have not taken care of the null value pointer. You can ignore that. So in the file loop, I'm trying to read a character from the file, right? Get CFP means it will read a character and that character will be stored in CH. We need to read the characters until I reach the end of the file, right? So what I need to do, whether that particular character read, if it is equals to a new line character. New line character means what? /n. If the red character is a new line character, then I'm going to increment the count value. So count will be incremented to 1 if it occurs. Initially count value is 0, and every time whenever a /n occurs, it will keep on incrementing the count. So how it is going to be executed? Now it will start reading from the first character. Okay, now is it the end of the file? No, so it will read this. Is it a new line character? No, so it will move on to the next character. This is also not a new line character. So like that, it will keep on moving to the 1. After 1, there is a new line character. So when it reads this new line character, the condition here, if this particular condition is going to be true. Since it becomes true, it will count the total number of, that is it will say that okay, there is a one line, there is the end of the line, so I will let me increment my count value. So it will increment the count value to 1. After that, it will move on to the character L. So L will be read. It is not a /n, so it will keep on moving up to 2. After 2, again it will encounter one more /n. So again this if condition will become true, count will get incremented to the next value. Like that, whenever a new line appears in the file, it keeps on incrementing the count value. So once it reaches the end of the file loop will get terminated and we're closing the file. And at the end, we are just displaying the total number of lines. Let me just try to make a small modifications here. Like let me handle the case of a null pointer. If fp is equals to null, then this is a standard code, right, that we write in every file handling. If fp is having a null value, that is file opening error, we can say printf error file opening the file / and we can exit the program. Exit 1. Let us compile the program once again. Be clear, compile the program, no errors, execute without passing the file. Definitely it is going to give us an error message here. Let us wait for that error message, that usage error. Yes, we got the usage error. Then this time let us pass the test.txt file, and you can see the total number of lines is going to be 4 here. How we got this particular 4? Because in the file, that is if I display the file here, cat test.txt, now we get 4 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4. After this particular 4th, that is line 4, there is a new line, and then there is the end of the file. So we are getting output as 4. Okay, now is it understood, students? Okay, now let me try to make a small change here, like cat. This time I will create one more file, test1.txt. Okay, now here I will type it as line 1, line 2, sorry, line 2, line 3, line 4. Now I will conclude the file here itself. Okay. If I execute the program once again, and this time if I pass the file name as test.1, the second one, it is going to, once again, it is going to give me the output in different format here. Look at the total number of lines are 3, but we have a 4 lines here. In this particular test.test1.txt file, we have 4 lines, but the program is giving result as only 3. Right? Earlier in test file, there were also 4 lines and it gave us a proper result. It gave us a proper result. Then what is the problem in this case? Where how this particular program is behaving differently in these particular scenarios. The reason being, in the file, pay attention, in this particular file, test.txt, after line number, that is after the 4th line, that is after 4, there is a /n. There is a /n. /n means after this, I have hit a enter button, cursor has come over here, and then there is a end of the file. Now you can also see, right, there is an empty line of a thing is displayed. But here in the second file, right, this is 4th line, but after this 4, there is no /n, but immediately there is a end of the file. That means our program is counting what? The /n's. It encounters a /n here. It encounters a second /n. It also encounters a third /n here. But here, since there is no /n, it has only counted 3 of them. So the output is displayed as 3 here. So whenever you execute this particular program, since it is a journal program, if you get this particular program for the exam, then you need to create a file. Ensure that after the last line, you are pressing one more, or you are entering another line here, like just an empty line. In that case, it is going to display output properly. If I just modify the test.1, test1.txt, let's say, second, if I modify the file here, line 1, line 2, line 3, and line 4. Now I will press enter button and then I will press Ctrl D. Okay, it just closed 1 second. Okay, now if I execute this time /a.exe with test1.txt, it is going to display as 4, because in that particular file there are 4 lines. I have told you in one of the class there is a command by the name OD. With this particular OD command, we can literally see how many /n's are present. Okay, I can use the parameters here and pass the test1.txt. You can see here, look into this one. /1 once, second time, third time, and 4th time. Since there are 4 /n's, the output is coming as 4. Okay, yes, I hope the concept is understood, students. So with this, the unit number 1 is completed. The unit number 1 is actually very vast and many concepts are there. Because of that, it usually takes a lot of time to complete. Okay, the upcoming units are very comparatively smaller units. So in the next class onwards, we will continue. We will begin with the second unit, that is the concepts related to the data structures.